Now that 1.6 is steadily coming with us and we are basically going to be going super quickly into 2.0 very soon, we have to talk about the reruns that a lot of people need to look out for when it comes to building out their account. I know there are a lot of brand new players, a lot of more recently made accounts, or veterans like that just don't know exactly what they need on their account in terms of the investment value that a rerun would bring. There are a couple of 5 stars that I think every account should have, just because they add a lot of diverse options and they also add a lot of crazy things to look at when it comes to all the characters that are out right now. And those characters that I will be listing are the ones that I think will not only allow you to have more fun in the game, but will allow you to make more teams in the game and also make this game overall just a lot easier for you. Now, we'll be talking about one specific character that if you end up summoning for them, it will make it a little too easy, because I don't think it's possible to lose with this character on your team. So we will be talking about all the reruns in this game. I have been using every single freaking character in this game and leveling them up to level 80 or above 70. I have everybody leveled up at the current moment and cannot wait to do so for Ruin May. This will not include characters coming in version 1.6, just because I think Ruin May for sure is one that everyone wants to look out for, but we haven't finished that patch already. So I want to go ahead and talk about all the previous units, because I do think that Ruin May is a little bit more recent. And then Dr.RATio is going to be free, so there's no need to talk about him. And then Kafka and Blade, well, if they are in this list, we will be talking about them as well. So let's go ahead and start talking about a character that I do think everyone should end up having on their account at some point, especially if you are more of a free-to-play to low spender player, and that is going to be Silverwolf 1000%. I do think everybody, in terms of, if you're not a high spender, if you're not someone who's going to go get every character, you kind of don't need Silverwolf. I do think Silverwolf is losing slightly in value just because we are moving into a more AoE centered meta, a meta where there's a lot of characters coming in and out. There's a lot of waves having multiple enemies, and Silverwolf only debuffing one character is a little lackluster. But when it comes to her and her weakness implant, when it comes to her defense shred, when it comes to the penetration, when it comes to all the debuffs that she gives, she allows you to have fun with whatever character that you possibly want. Say you feel like using Kafka, say you feel like using Welt. If they don't have Imaginary, if they don't have Lightning, then you are able to put that on with Silverwolf if you have the right team, and it could basically be 100%. This is a really great thing for Silverwolf. I do think, especially with Silverwolf having a rerun very recently, it will be taking some time for her to come back. But when you end up watching this video and she gets announced again, you do want to make sure you're going to possibly go for her if you have the funds and if you want to, because I do think Silverwolf just overall allows you to just use whatever team you want on either side of MLC or whatever content you're trying to do, and you're able to have fun with your favorite character forever. You don't ever have to worry about whatever the weakness is for the enemy, because Silverwolf would just go ahead and put that on the enemy, and that's all you really need from her. She's an absolutely amazing unit, hits really hard with her ultimate, and also applies a fat ton and a stack ton of debuffs. And if this event does come back for her actual 4-star light cone that we have for free, which I don't know if they'll ever bring this back, in all honesty, because this is a really nice light cone. It's going to give you some energy when you hit defense down enemies, and with her ultimate, with their skill, she does proc this, so she gets a fat ton of energy back from this. If they do bring that light cone out, that'd be amazing. Her light cone really overkill in my honest opinion, just because you don't really need all that's given here. This is more of a sub DPS light cone for her. So if you are going to be looking forward to getting Silverwolf in the future, make sure you just basically get her and her only, and have fun whatever unit you want, because that's basically what she will be fulfilling. You don't have to worry about a lot of resources being spent on every type of DPS or every type of character that you need to be able to fulfill that one weakness. You just have to have Silverwolf on the team and you're basically done. You get to play with whoever you want. So that's the main gist of why Silverwolf is for sure a rerun you do want to keep a lookout for. And now for the next character, I do want to go ahead and bring out this character, because talking about her is just, she's just a little too strong. I think, especially with me and how I've been talking to other creators, Xuan is by far one of the more broken characters in this game when it comes to sustain and being able to keep your alive reasons, just because of how much she gives in her kit. And I want to say this right now, as she is in the game at the current moment, she is the best sustainer, hands down. I do think that Xuan is just right there, like non-stop, not allowing you to die. She gives you a fat ton of buffs. She gives you so much in her kit. Not only is she giving you damage mitigation, but she's also giving you healing when she does her ult, which is all hitting. So this is going to be really nice when it comes to shredding down quantum shields. And this is also going to be really nice because not only are you taking no damage, you're getting healing back while taking no damage. That's absolutely busted. And another crazy thing that she does have as well is that she will prevent CC for the first time every matrix. So if you have a faster Xuan, you will basically have immunity to all CC no matter what, because she will keep popping that matrix. And every time you put a new one out, she gets a refresh on that cooldown. And that's that's just overall really insane stuff for a sustainer to have. I don't think it's possible that any enemy in any mode right now in the game, they can't really one-shot Fu Xuan in her team, because it takes so much when you're considering the fact that she has to get hit through the mitigation and lose a fat ton of health that way, and then she also can heal herself as well on top of that. It's not going to get to the point where there's an enemy that can one-shot you with Fu Xuan on the team, unless you're playing the very, very early stages of Swarm Disaster, where the bug is going to one-shot you when he has like 5 bugs on the field. That might be the only reason, but that is a very temporary thing. You do end up getting stronger as you play Swarm Disaster, and once that hits, you don't really need another sustain. You can just rock Fu Xuan, you'll be fine. So I 100% believe that Fu Xuan is a character with however many stats that she gives when it comes to giving you crit rate, when it gives you the HP buff. There's a lot of really good stats that she does provide for the team, and it's the full team, and giving you around 10% crit rate and 5% max HP, helping you survive longer, also helping you get more crit rate, helping you with the crit ratios, allowing your other DPSs to run possibly a crit damage chest when they would have needed a crit rate chest, just so that it could boost them up a little bit. This is overall just an insane sustain that's giving you a bunch of resources while also keeping your team alive. So I do want to say that Fu Xuan is definitely a character you do want to look out for when it comes to having a sustain on your team. So right now, Silverwolf, as you may know, again, as I said, basically allows you to have fun in the game, allows you to play with whatever character and whatever team you want, as long as this game is alive. So Silverwolf is there for that, and then Fu Xuan is here because you can't die. Fu Xuan definitely turns the game on to easy difficulty. So if you don't want a character that's just overall just going to make this game way too easy for you and take the quote-unquote fun out of it, then Fu Xuan is definitely a character you might want to skip, because if you don't have Fu Xuan, the game is a little bit harder with having to manage your resources, especially if you're going to use characters like Natasha or Lynx or other harder healers to use, just because they don't have that much utility in their kit. But any of these sustains, especially like Luo-chan, Ho is also very strong with her energy and her attack, but I just think you can still get killed with having Ho on the team, and you can still get killed while having Luo on the team. But with Fu Xuan, that's basically an impossibility. You're just gonna stay alive forever, and this is a character for sure. If you want an easy mode sustain, she is definitely going to be it. And now for the next two characters, these two characters are gonna fall independent in how you want to play the game, because these two characters do enable different teams, and me saying that, you possibly might know who I'm talking about. And one of those characters is definitely going to be the fan favorite Kafka. Kafka for sure is a character that a lot of people should look forward to getting, just because she does enable a whole style of team, and that is going to be the dot team. You are going to have to level up quite a bit of units when it comes to using Kafka and having characters like Sampo, having characters like Luca, Guanifin, possibly even Black Swan when she comes out. Yes, Kafka is getting a rerun in version 1.6 in the second half, which is a very strong thing to see, that we are getting her back very soon. And just having her on your account is going to allow you to just try something new. You don't have to run the standard hyper carry comp. You might be able to deviate from the dual DPS comp that Ruin Mei is going to bring when she ends up coming out. Kafka is for sure a character that you want to look at, just because of how she's able to open up an avenue for you to try something new, and she does a lot of damage. If you have your characters built very well when it comes to your Sampo, your Luca, your Guanifin, and possibly even making them a break effect build, you can get some insane numbers while having Kafka on the team. And the fact that she is going to be absolutely timeless, her being a dot unit, her putting her own dots on the character, her also re-triggering dots, is going to be an ability that you will always be able to have on the team no matter what. I don't think anybody in the game, even from now until the end of the game, can basically overpower Kafka and what she does, because being able to re-trigger dots is something that even if another character comes out that can do that, it's not going to take Kafka out of her spot. You're just going to have another character, let's say a wind character, or maybe even a physical character. That character adds physical or wind dot, and then they also re-trigger. What stops you from running Kafka, who's also adding lightning dot and is also re-triggering the dots? You're just going to get two re-triggers of the same dots, and you're also going to have two characters that add extra element dots to them. So Kafka, in all honesty, is one of the hardest characters to power creep, or one of the hardest characters to throw out of their role, just because of the ability of what she has. So definitely, if you are looking towards the dot playstyle, go ahead and grab Kafka, because she is by far going to be 100% worth it. And for another character that will enable another type of playstyle, that is going to be Topaz and Numby. If you are looking forward to using follow-up attack characters, Topaz and Numby by far are going to be buffing that like a crazy amount. And especially with the addition of Ruin Mei, with the addition of us getting more dual DPS supports, Topaz and Numby is going to feel very comfortable in the future, and especially with characters like Xuan, who has a directed follow-up attack. Same thing with dr.ratio, who also has a directed follow-up attack. There are many other options as well, like Himiko, Jing, many other characters that can benefit from this as well. But having these direct follow-up attack characters coming out very, very soon, Topaz and Numby is 100% going to benefit from this. And for the fact that many characters in the future, when they have follow-up attacks, the fact that Topaz and Numby are able to buff follow-up attacks and also do their own damage and also be an SP positive character, allowing you to have a fat ton of skill points while also doing a fat ton of damage. Because man, she just has a lot of damage in her kit. She just doesn't get the chance to use it at the current moment, just because of the way a lot of these follow-up attacks work and how fast they come out. So Topaz and Numby, when they get more follow-up attack units in the future and also very soon with dr.ratio and Xuan, they're going to overall skyrocket. You just get so much damage and so much utility from her, because a lot of this damage that you do get is going to be converted into follow-up attacks. And if you have things that give you follow-up attack damage, I don't have the best set on her at the current moment. Chill on me. But if you have something like Inner Cell Soto and then also the follow-up attack set on her, you are going to get some amazing stats and some amazing numbers out of her, just for her basically generating skill points and giving a buff to your teammates. She acts as a DPS, a sub DPS, and also a buffer or debuffer, however you want to look at it. And then you have your main DPS. You have your dual DPS support. You have your sustain. You're going to get a fat ton of damage and a lot of damage coming out because you are buffing your other follow-up attack unit. You are buffing her own follow-up attacks. You also are doing your own follow-up attack damage from your other characters doing follow-up attacks. So you can see that no matter what, the same way Kafka is, Topaz and Numby are going to be very strong in the future with whatever character comes out that does do follow-up attacks. So Topaz and Numby, if you are looking forward to making a more follow-up attack centered team, and this consists of characters like maybe Himiko, having Jing, possibly Yanqing if you want to work around his like RNG type of follow-up attack. There's many other characters that do follow-up attacks, and there's many other characters that will come out that will end up doing follow-up attacks. So getting characters like Topaz is for sure going to be a 100 worth investment if you are looking into playing into that follow-up attack style. And same thing with Kafka. If you are looking forward to playing in that dot DPS style, Kafka is 100% going to be an investment. And for the last character and the fifth and final character, I was kind of going in a random order. I just think these characters overall in that 4-man group is 100% worth an investment to in your account, just because, like I said, Silverwolf keeps the game fun. Xuan keeps you alive no matter what. She turns on easy mode just like how Zhongli does in Genshin. And then Kafka and Topaz are characters that enable teams and can stay on the team forever just because of their utility. And now for the last spot, which I kind of split it in two just because of the way these characters are structured in their kit. The last two characters are going to be, I'm going to have to say it at the same time just because I do think they share a spot, and I'm going to explain why. Is going to be Jing, 1000%. She has FU damage. She has the sub DPS portion of her kit where she doesn't need to use skill points after a certain amount of time. That is a very strong thing, and especially with Ruin Mei coming out, we might be able to see Jing become a sub DPS in the future when there's maybe a better ice character, or possibly when there's a better character that aligns with how she works. Maybe they get stacks or something from taking damage, and Jing does that for them. There's a lot of really cool things that can go with Jing, but the fact that she doesn't use a lot of skill points is a big reason why she might be useful in the future, and she won't get power crept as fast as other DPSs would be. Having skill point efficiency is a very strong thing to have and allows you to be a really good sub DPS in the future. So Jing by far is going to take that last spot for right now, and also sharing that spot with Blade. I think Blade also falls into this situation very well, and also falls into the situation where your SP or your skill points aren't going to be absolutely evaporated by having these characters on the team. Jing only needs 2, and then she gets a fat ton of turns without it, and she doesn't need to use skill points, so you'll be 100% fine. But Blade only needs 1 skill point for 4 turns of attacks, and then he can sustain himself, healing himself. He can do a follow-up attack that hits the whole way from taking these damage hits, and if he's getting a fat ton of these hits, he's going to do non-stop follow-up attacks, adjacent hitting normals for 4 turns without skill points. A really good ultimate that hurts a lot. There's a lot of really good things that come from Jing and Blade at the current moment, where compared to characters like Don Hung, compared to characters like Sele, these characters are absolutely amazing and do very good things. They're basically characters that won't be power crept for a very, very long time, but with the way Blade and the way Jing work, the way they don't use a lot of skill points, there's a 100% chance that in the future, if we are moving more into a dual DPS comp, or a comp that needs 2 DPSs to sustain enough damage to be able to do enough damage to the boss or something like that, there could be some crazy mechanics in the future possibly. But being able to not use a fat ton of skill points and use it for another character to have 2 DPSs on the team, or to allow them to be the sub DPS while also having the main DPS on the team as well, this is going to provide them a lot more comfort and allow them to be a lot more teams in the future just because of their skill point efficiency. Sele and also Don Hung, these are characters known for being very SP hungry, and for the fact that they might not align with possibly future metas. They will be the faster ones to be power crept because they can't be put in that sub DPS role just because they really want to be selfish characters. They really want to be boosted up into the max with double supports and a sustain, which we might still see that for a very long time. But I do think that characters like Jing Liu and Blade for sure, and I know Blade is getting a rerun, but we must remember and consider that Ruin Mei will be a banner with them. So it's not really the best time at the current moment to grab Blade unless you really want to. But Ruin Mei is for sure going to be the worthwhile investment. While Jing Liu is probably, or not probably, she is the #1 DPS at the current moment. So right now, not only is she very strong by herself, but she also has that investment potential that a lot of characters don't have when it comes to being very SP efficient. And she also gives herself a fat ton of buffs that make it very easy to build her, make it very easy to use her. So these by far are the 5 to 6 characters, I guess you could say, that are going to be in my watch out for them type of list, because for newer players and for older players alike, I do think these characters for sure add a fat ton of value. While there are other characters that are good, don't get me wrong, there are characters that do very well, like Ho-Oh. I think she's by far one of the better sustains in the game for sure, just because she does give you attack, she gives you energy, she also gives you a fat ton of cleansing and a bunch of healing when it comes to being on your turn. But I don't think she provides as much as Fu Xuan. Same thing with Luocha, doesn't provide as much things as Fu Xuan. There's just a lot of characters that are really nice, Argenti, Sele, all of these characters included. They just don't provide as much value as the characters I listed because they will overall be good for a very long time. Kafka and Topaz, they're going to enable their own teams. They're going to have their role on their teams for a very stupid long time and possibly till the game ends, just because the way they work, they can't be replaced because they'll just keep on adding more utility as the game goes on. And then for someone that can't die like Fu Xuan, or someone that lets you play with whatever characters you want like Silverwolf, that is a bunch of value that can be added to your account. You may not want to play them, but they'll allow you to play who you want to play. That's the big thing about it, and that allows you to have much more fun in the game. And then for characters like Jing Liu and Blade, you don't have to get them 100%. They are DPSs, so they would get power crept a lot faster than the supports and the sustains. But with the way Jing Liu works and the way Blade works, with them being SP efficient, I do think they are very strong for investment potential for the future if we are moving into a dual DPS comp. So on that will be it for the rest of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. If you think there's a better character that fits the criteria of a character you might want to watch out for a rerun, let me know in the comments below what you think. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.